Yeah.
And I'll look at Mitzvah later, see if it tells the year when this story happened.
No. Different one? Brother?
L'chaim.
They all look alike. Sorry, excuse me.
There's a mimer from the Alter Rebbe, sweet mimer. Vanesha bagoy mul beis pa'oir. The first, as Eden were about to enter Eretz Yisrael, they had this problem of the Avodah Zorah pa'oir. That unfortunately many Jewish men got entangled with the Moav and Midian women, and then they got involved with the Baal Pa'or, and it was a terrible thing. That was a very big hurdle to go that way. But we think about it today, it's like a strange Avodah Zorah. And people go and they take their pants down and they relieve themselves. And the more the merrier, kipshutai, and that's a bigger hiddur mitzvah.
Puts out the fire.
Yeah. That's where chon came in. You have first you eat chon, and then you go yeah. So b'meila, it's an interesting avodah zorah, like you know. So the Alter Rebbe has a mimer on this. The Alter Rebbe has a moirdik shena gishmak mimer. Vanesha bagoy mul beis pa'or in the year of Samach Beis.
Thank you.
So the Nakuda of the mimer is like this. How does something come down from heaven to earth? Like we said the story for the Papa. The Papa was too. How does the sweetness of an apple is in Chochmah, in Chesed of Atzilus? How does the sweetness of an apple from Atzilus come into this world? If you bite into Chesed de Atzilus, you'll not find at the taste of a Granny Smith or a Macintosh, not even a Honey Crisp. So where is it? How is it that Vigekumen? How did it happen? That from everything in this world comes from a higher world, and the higher world comes from a higher world. All comes from Atzilus. So obviously the sweet apple comes from Chesed Atzilus, but how does it come from Chesed Atzilus into this world? So what the Alter Rebbe explains is a concept of Malachim that are called Kol Krove Hashem Kodshe. The angels that are called Krovayim. They're the intestines of Kedusha. Just like the intestines, what does the intestines do? It takes the good part of the food, the nutrients, it gives it to the goof, and the bad part shoots it out to the Beis HaKisei. Yet there is a chaya, says the Alter Rebbe, and when you shoot out in the Beis HaKisei, that chaya loves it. There is one animal in this world, what you think you flush, and you think is psoilus, that animal thinks it's delicious. Because to your goof, this is not worth anything anymore. There's no chayas left in this. So the goof rejects it. But to that chaya, this is a delicacy. So the malachim, they separate, there's a certain chayas, and they separate the chitzonius and the pnimius of the chayas. In this energy, the chitzonius and the pnimius are mixed in. They're one. Not only that the bad is mixed in with the good. There is no bad, it's all good. It's mixed in together. And then these malachim, they separate it. They separate the chitzonius from the pnimius. And then they shoot it out into lower world. And that world, this is still valuable. And then again, that's just like the intestines of a person, that it goes weiter until it gets pushed out into this world. Like the Chassidim said, that this Olam Hazeh, and this is where the Malachim, they went to the Beis HaKisei, they did the Asher Yotzar in this world. So that's the Pshat, Kol Krove Hashem Kodshe. And Alter Rebbe says that's the Pshat, What's the difference between Movis and Ra? Movis means that a person looks at Olam Hazeh and he thinks that, wow, this is it. That's Movis. Because Olam Hazeh has nothing to it. There is nothing to Olam Hazeh. Olam Hazeh is only it's a godly hashpah that's diminished more and more and more and more and more through the kravayim of the malachim until it comes into this world. It's mamish psoilus. So a person that thinks that psoilus is wow, it's like the chazer that thinks that the psoilus is ikr. Okay, but that's only mavis. That's not rayat. When a person all of a sudden, not only that but this becomes his whole ikr in his life. This mavis, this psoilus, that becomes ra. Now this is mamish evil. Evil is worse than mavis. Means there's no life. Ra means it's a mazik. So that's what happens to that's the klipa of beis pa'or. Beis pa'or is that the avodah zora is that what just like a human being rejects something from his body is nothing, and they're not only it's choshev to them, but they bow to it. It's an avodah zora. So a yid explains the Alter Rebbe that what's in Yabal Pa'or, that everything in this world is really from kravai to the kravayim of the malachim. And when a yid looks at this world, and it's also choshev to me, the stuff from this world are choshev to me. Kavod is choshev to me. Money is choshev to me. Olam hazeh is choshev to me. Money is choshev to me. Worldly stuff are choshev to me. That's mavis. And if I worship it, that's already ra. So how does a yid get rid of this? What's the remedy? Vayeshev maneshev bagoy mul beis pa'or. That when a yid is beis yashvus, the inyan of bagoy, the inyan of bagoy is a valley, something which is very deep. The Eibish's perspective of the world of Einoid Malvade, when a Yid understands the Eibish's perspective in Neufen of Isyashvus, so then that's the remedy of the Avodah Zorah of Pa'or. The Avodah Zorah of Pa'or we all understand quite good and well. We all have it in our life. Some more, some less, some of this thing and some of the other thing. The shaila is how we get to the remedy. How we get to the remedy. So the Chassidim said that one of the big Chassidim, this story was told by the Mashpia, Reb Shmuel Groinem, that one of the big Chassidim of the Alter Rebbe, the Moshe Vilenker, walked by the Alter Rebbe's room when the Alter Rebbe was learning, and he peeked in to see the Alter Rebbe. In general, the Alter Rebbe didn't want it. The Chassidim made holes in his doors to be able to look at him. The Alter Rebbe lived in such a simplicity that the Mashpia Reb Groiner said that the people in Vitebsk wanted to ask the Alter Rebbe he should come to their city. They were rich people. Vitebsk was a big city. The people in Yochanan said to the Alter Rebbe, it's not fair, all the years you were here, now that you became famous, that you're going to leave us. So the Alter Rebbe said, but I have to provide for my family. So they said, we'll provide. The Alter Rebbe gave them a reshima of everything he needs. As they were leaving, the Alter Rebbe called them back. He had a certain machle that apparently you needed to chew sugar cane. That's what they thought of the remedy for whatever that machle is. So the Alter Rebbe said to add a little bit, or to eat sugar, or to eat sugar cubes, whatever it was, to add it to the list. So Reb Groinem said this was a very cheap item in those days. So could you imagine if the original list there wasn't any wiggle room for an extra few sugar cubes. So the Alter Rebbe added it befedish. So anyway, back to the story, the Alter Rebbe had a door, but he wasn't going to fix it. So he had a curtain on the door. And the Chassidim wanted to so Chassidim was always a tug. The Mittler Rebbe used to move it so Chassidim could see the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe would close it again. The Alter Rebbe asked the Mittler Rebbe, why are you doing this? So he said, the Chassidim want to see your face. So the Reb Moshe Vilenker passed by the room of the Alter Rebbe, and he was lucky. It was, the curtain was moved. He was able to look through the holes, and he saw the Alter Rebbe learning. And he said that at that point it clicked in his mind. He understood what's the pshat Einoid Malvade. Einoid Malvade all of a sudden became a reality. So that Reb Shmuel Groinem explained that just like in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when a Yid came to the Beis HaMikdash, he saw the Eibishter. A Yid saw Hashem. When he left and he came back to his town, he was a different person. When a Yid was in the Beis HaMikdash, all of a sudden when he came home, it was true. Ein Oid Malvade was a true thing. He saw the Eibishter. And now when he came back home, he couldn't look at the world the same. The world wasn't anywhere. It wasn't anymore a field. It wasn't an orchard. It wasn't a house. It wasn't a horse. It wasn't a donkey. was Einoid Malvadoi. Once he was in the Beis HaMikdash and he experienced the Re'iyah of the Eibishter, he was a different person. The same thing when a chassid comes to the Rebbe and he sees the Rebbe, when he goes away, he becomes a different person. But in order for this to happen, a chassid has to be a keli. First, he has to make himself a vessel. But that's really what happens that's the inyan of what happens when a yid comes to the Rebbe. They say one of the chassidim. This was years. My Zayda says that he remembers that for all the years the chassidim used to go to Chof Teves. They used to go to the Alter Rebbe. But this was in tumultuous years. This was in the early years of communism. But still, it was very far from Marsov. His father was Oicha Begoydel, and he went to the Alter Rebbe for Chof Teves. And he came back and he spoke about the experience. There were years that there was a very small oilum there. There wasn't many people. It was just very difficult to get there. So there was once that there was 9 people, and one of the Chof Chassidim, I forgot who it was, from Hummel. So he opened up the door to the Tzion, and he invited that the Alter Rebbe should be the 10th of the minyan. He invited that the Alter Rebbe. He said that the Alter Rebbe is alive, so therefore he invited the Alter Rebbe to be with the minyan. That's the inyan. The inyan is that in order to feel the tikkun of the Vaneshev Bagoy Mul Beis Poir, the tikkun of Poir is to feel Einoid Malvadoi. And where does a yid feel Einoid Malvadoi? Come to Rabbi, you feel Einoid Malvadoi. The Tzemach Tzedek said that right before the stalkus of the Alter Rebbe pointed and he said, "What do you see?" There was a beam. And the Tzemach Tzedek said he sees a beam. The Shaila is there was a beam and holding up the ceiling, a few beams. So the Alter Rebbe said, "Trust me, I don't see a beam. I only see the Dvar Hashem that's Machayim Ma'ava, the beam." So, but the Alter Rebbe was not. The Alter Rebbe really, that was emes. The Alter Rebbe really saw it this way. This was mamash the Alter Rebbe. So therefore, chassidim that looked at the Alter Rebbe and are connected to the Alter Rebbe feel it comes through from him. It comes through the Zabazach. And that's not only by the Alter Rebbe, it's by every subsequent Rebbe. And we're coming close to Mitzvah Shem Tiyut Shvat. There's the Rishon, and there's the Shvi, and there's a connection. So there's by every tzaddik it's that way. But by the Alter Rebbe, you see that was his inyan. Just that was this whole thing. The whole thing of the Alter Rebbe's whole life was to see Einoid Malvadoi. To this klipa base pa'or. To this was the remedy base pa'or to wissen Einoid Malvadoi. So l'chaim, it should be nikva to us. Taket should be kavu in our heart, and we should go to the oil like Siddim went to the Alter Rebbe, and we should feel the same way. L'chaim. Koil doi di fake doi fake isli koil doi di fake good doi fake l'chaim is Keliyato ve'oideko Eloika Aramemeko 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 Keliyato.
This is a story about the 10. This is a story about the 10. And the minion.
You know the 4 parts? Here's my cousin. You know my cousin. You guys don't know? I will.
Rabotai, Shavua Tov, everybody. I ask permission from the Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef, and they told me I can say a few words. I had a grandson bar mitzvah in Israel about 2 years ago. And thank you. And I want to relate a story that the Rabbi said about the Tzemach Tzedek, that he was invited to be the 10 in the minyan. One of my son-in-law, we live in Jersey, in Hillside. When he was 12, today is Baruch Hashem, I don't know, maybe 8 and 9. He said that his mother took him to Muncie to get the bracha from the Rav there before his bar mitzvah. And the Rav told him, before I give you a bracha, I want to tell you a story. Okay? So he tell him in the end of the village was a little shkibbur. And they have 9 people waiting to daven mincha. In 10-15 minutes, no more, you cannot daven anymore with minyan. And they're waiting, the 9 people, and they are waiting who will be the 10th. Let's zoom the camera to see who was inside this room, this shul. Was Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David, Shlomo, Yaakov, all the big tzaddikim, Rabbi Akiva. They are 9, they are waiting for 10. All of a sudden, they're looking through the window, Moshe Rabbeinu see the kids running. He said, here's the 10, let's get him. And this was Ben, Binyamin, my grandson. That's the story, right? So he come in, and I continue, I said, you know, Binyamin, there are 9 the biggest tzaddikim in the world. And without you, to be mashlim the minyan, to be the 10, they cannot make a minyan. Now you're 13, you're going to be a bar mitzvah, you are one of the minyan. You can add up to Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David. You're very, very big level. So Be'ezrat Hashem, I don't know if I'll be in the bar mitzvah of the rabbi tomorrow night. What's his name? Reason. So somebody relate this story to him.
You better have a good reason not to.
Thank you.
How much reason was very upset? Reason has risen.
This is related.
Good.
How is wrong with this?
He does? When? Well, around the age of
Norman.
Thank you.
Norman.
Time, bro.
I call him Stormy Norman. Really? Like Norman Schwarzkopf, Brother's General?
Those not a story, no.
Big person. Everyone.
One love.
Rabbi called them. He's a big tzaddik. Yeah, you once.
L'chaim, l'chaim.
Sure, once you didn't swear. You came with.
My uncle passed away this week. Was the end of the shiva.
Guys, the ladies upstairs want to hear the rabbi. So if you be quiet, they can hear him upstairs. Thank you.
If you're not quite present, it's going to smack you.
He was a yid that was. I'll tell you, there's a Rav here in the neighborhood. A different uncle, but he told me, "Oh, I knew your uncle very well." This Rav was a star witness in the case of the Teves thing. And my uncle was very friendly with him. He said, "Your uncle knew Shas like Ashrei. So how come he wasn't from the Gedolei Hadoyer?" The answer is Lubavitcher. No one knew of him. But I tell you now, in Gan Eden, he's sitting for sure with all the Litvish Rosh Yeshivas. So when I came home and I told this story, who had the Olam gelacht sehr gut? This guy thinks that the highest level in Gan Eden is normally the Litvish Rosh Yeshivas. Good point. So anyway, my uncle at Mordechai was in the same league. Posher Ayid that you can chas. No, Belanov. Ayid you can chas, kipshute chas, but chas. The Rebbe sent him shlichus the early years to Morocco. Taka in the city, they had in the news recently that the king of Morocco came around, and all the people came out, and the Jews came out to greet him, and he said, "No, how you guys doing?" They said they have a complaint that all the city streets that had Jewish names were changed. So a king is a king. He said, I'm taking care of it. By next morning, all the signs were back. All the names of the Jewish streets were back. This is something that was changed 30 years ago. By next morning, it was ready. It was done. Yeah. He bent over. He said, a cute picture. This is a Yid that learned to Chabad when he was young. He used to come all the years to the Rebbe. He said, "King, we love you." He says, "I know that. Just keep on praying for me." So anyway, my uncle was sent to shlichus there. Unfortunately, didn't stay long. He was suspected of being a Zionist, so he was expelled to the country. Chof was before Chag HaShavuos. He got a telegram. Was Erev Shavuos. He got a telegram from the Rebbe. Apparently, he asked the Rebbe permission to come to the Rebbe to see the Rebbe. He had a yeshiva. I mean, to give you just the magnitude, he was in a yeshiva. The Chabad yeshiva in Marrakesh. He said a shiur for Bochrim that the yeshiva grew in 4 months to have 500 talmidim. Just to give you just what kind of influence has Chabad had in Morocco. So he asked the Rebbe the Shus to come. The Rebbe sent him a telegram. Was Erev Chag HaShavuos, Tov Chof, 1960. He has a Shus to come. It's Erev Shavuos. There was some government strike in France. I guess that's their favorite pastime anywhere. So but at Gelofen till he got whatever he needed documents in order for him to travel, and he ran to the airport and he took the flight. He came to New York. It was an hour before Lichtbenchen. Chapped a taxi, he got to Kornitz just in time. After Shavuos, he had Yechidus. So the Rebbe smiled. He said, "How did you make it? How did you make it for Yom Tov?" 2 hours. So he said, "The Rebbe sent me a telegram." The Rebbe said, "But if I'm not mistaken, there was some strike." So my uncle said, But if the Rebbe sent a telegram, so the Rebbe asked, "No, but I don't know. But did they know that I sent a telegram?" So my uncle is like, "That's not shtickle." So he answered to the Rebbe. Well, obviously, if the Rebbe sent, they knew. The Rebbe smiled. So the Rebbe smiled. That's the inyan. That's the bottom line. When a chosed in our life is full of base pa'or, the Avodah Zorah of this world today, the big Avodah Zorah. Before you go in, there was many Avodah Zorahs. When they left Egypt, the Avodah Zorah was Paroi. Well, there were other things, but right before they go into Eretz Yisrael, the final stop is Beis Pa'or. Perhaps now too, in this Golus, the final stop is that Avodah Zorah Beis Pa'or. What's the tikkun of Beis Pa'or? Yid is Banesha Bagoy Mul Beis Pa'or, that there is Einoid Malvade. But how do we see this? There are people that their life is Einoid Malvade. That's really the way they live. But if we look at them, if we look at video at them, we look at a video, see how they daven, how they walk, and to them it's Einoid Malvade, it rubs off on us. Mamish Einoid Malvade. Said the Chassidim once, the Chassidim wanted to see how the Alter Rebbe eats. So they waited and waited. It was late at night. The Alter Rebbe, they brought him a bowl. He used to eat kasha. So he picked up the bowl and he said, "Jetzt darf man machen kmitze." It was like they got there was such a pachet came into them. Kmitze is like the kohen. The mincha. That was the Alter Rebbe was eating was an avodas Hashem. Eating wasn't a separate thing when he finished davening or learning eating. Eating was part of his avodas Hashem. There was such a aim of a pachet that fell onto Chassidim. They all disappeared. But Akaponim is Itzaf Malave Malka Motzah Shabbos, and we say to ourselves, we're going to live a life of Einoid Malvadoi. But they say that the Alter Rebbe, there was once he got the list from every town. The Chassidim used to give money, tzedakah for Eretz Yisrael and tzedakah for Maimed, and there was a list every shul. They had a list of all the people in the shul. Every once a year they'd collect a certain amount of tzedakah, sent to Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe looked at all the lists, and one town and one shul, he said there's a name missing. So they sent back, and the kids they found out there's Nebach that there was a chosed that caught doing something very not appropriate for a yid, and so they rejected him from the shul. And they obviously, when it came time to collect the money, they didn't bother go to collect money from him. The Alter Rebbe sent back a letter that they made a mistake. The Alter Rebbe said that you can never undermine what a Chassidish shul can accomplish, as a Chassidish shtibel can uftan. And anyway, the Alter Rebbe continued that you can't imagine by the Rabbanu Shalom how precious is the avodas of Hashem of a Yid. If a Yid is going to do one aveda less, can't imagine how precious it is. So in other words, they should bring the chassid back. They should bring the chassid back into the shtibel. So that's why we're sitting here tonight in Beis Menachem Mendel, because we don't alone. Tzitutzach nishta avodas Hashem. So therefore, we're doing it together. And we're doing it together. So the emotze geitzach and avodas Hashem. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Hashem, the Rav brought me back. Yeah,
I'll leave that for you. Can you start the Achronik? Yeah. Ya 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 you came in 2 hours or 3 hours? Oh Yeah. Nice words from the Rebbe on the beginning of the Eidah. So Moshe Rabbeinu has complaints to the Eibishter. Lomar Oisa, and the Eibishter. What was the question? What was the answer? The Rebbe has a pshat like this. The question was, he understood that the Jews were supposed to be for 400 years, 210 years in Golus. There was a deal about Bris Ben Absonim. He understood that was a deal. A deal is a deal. He wasn't complaining about the deal. He was complaining, Lomar Oisa, why does it have to be so bad in Golus? Can't it be a little easier in Golus? You went by Yitzchak when it was Gur Ba'aretz, when he was already not living in Eretz Yisrael, it was already considered he was in Golus, and that was already considered part of the 400 years. He wasn't working avodah kosher b'chaymer b'laveinim. So why can't you do for us the same? Why can't you make it easier for us too? So the Eibush says Chaval al da'alvzim v'lo mishtakche, that you can't compare it to Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov. Avram Yitzchak and Yaakov, when they were in Golus, there was such pain and such agony. They hated being in Golus so much. They wanted to be in Eretz Yisrael and Eretz HaKodesh. That as soon as you took them out of Eretz Yisrael, that was it. Nothing more was necessary. You didn't need Choymer, Leveinim, Avodah Kosher, Avodah Basoda. The fact that they were in Golus. Now, if you see such a pshat, right, a pshat. But if you ever see the Rebbe talk about how terrible Golus is, and how could it be that a Yid even thinks that he'll be comfortable in Golus, and you see the Rebbe's face, you understand that this pshat is not just a pshat. This is not a pshat. This is the Rebbe gelebt by them. That's why the Rebbe said this pshat. The Rebbe lived by this pshat. The Rebbe lived by this pshat. Interest parenthetical. It's not the Zalbazach. The Rebbe always used to say that there is the Zoya says, "B'choymer b'laveinim, b'choymer dokal b'choymer." B'laveinim is Gzeira Shova. And the Alter Rebbe brings it in the Maimer, and the Alter Rebbe explains it. The Rebbe said the pshat is that there has to be, you didn't have to go through a certain pain of golus, but it's our choice. Instead of knocking our cup b'choymer b'laveinim, we could work hard on the kal v'choymer, and with them is meyoytza golus. So if you ever hit a patch of a rough time, so the eitzah, according to the Alter Rebbe and according to the Rebbe, is hak yourself arayin in the choymer b'laveinim shebekedusha, because apparently right now you have to go through a rough patch. So maybe start learning the sugya of Netilas Yadayim. It's a very shvera sugya, and start going through the sugya well, the Yuna, and then all the other tzaras will fall apart, because who needs it? The Yid just has to be b'choymer b'laveinim now. It doesn't have to be necessarily this type of choymer. It could be a different choymer b'laveinim. Anyway, so that's the Rebbe's vort. The Rebbe's vort is by the Ovis. The Eibush said, you ask Loima Hara Oisa, when they were, as soon as they were not in Eretz Yisrael and they were in Golas, they were in such agony. But you guys are not that way. Therefore, it was Hara Oisa Lo Mazeh. But when you look at the Rebbe, you see that the story of the Alter Rebbe that's told is that the Alter Rebbe in his early years as a Talmud of the Magid, the other Talmidim of the Magid, they didn't know. They saw a guy sitting and learning, but he was a Talmud Chacham, but they didn't know who he was. and he did. Why didn't he want they should understand who he is? It was b'mechuven because he considered them as big tzaddikim, the Pinchas, Reb Shmelke, Rabbi Yitzchak Bedichev, the Menachem Adel of Vitebsk, the Priya Oretz, Reb Zusha, the Melech. So he wanted to be Meshamash Tamid Chachamim. He would sleep under the table. He had a little pillow. He slept on the table. He had one shirt. That was the only thing he had. Erev Shabbos, he used to go himself and wash out his. He had only one shirt. So, but he wanted to have the schus of Shemesh Tamid Chachamim. So so they didn't know who he was. Well, just a fellow sitting in the back of the base medrash, and they knew that the Maggid had a chshivus to him, a chavivus with him, but they didn't know anymore. So whenever they needed something, he used to go out. They would send him out to buy stuff for him or whatever. He was like mishamash. He was there like mishamash. Vahi hayom, the Maggid said a drush, and no one understood the drush. So they went to the Maggid, and they asked him. The Maggid was a captain. He wasn't, and so they went and they asked Rachamim that he should please. No one from Talmidim, from the Pinchas down to the youngest Talmud, no one understands a word of the drush. The Maggid is not going to repeat the drush. The Maggid said that if you want to understand the drush, go to Zalmanu. He will explain the drush. And if he refuses to explain the drush, you'll tell him that I said he has to explain the drush. So they came to the Alter Rebbe, and now the Alter Rebbe is in a dilemma. He sat for a long time and thinking, what was the problem? On the one hand, you have to listen to your Rebbe. On the other hand, he's going to lose the schus. If he's going to open his mouth and explain the drush of the Maggid, they're not going to send him out to get a piece of soap Friday, from the marketplace. The honeymoon days will be over. The Alter Rebbe's honeymoon days. Those good days are going to be finished for him. So after Shakel Vataya, he realized in his mind that he can't defy the Maggid said. So it took him a long time, and he explained the drush of the Maggid, and that was it. That was from then on. He lost that schus of the other Talmidei Maggid using it as a mishamish. But that was to the Alter Rebbe. That was a loss. It was a loss. A story. Elsewhere, stories told that when the Pinchas and Reb Shmelke they left Mezrich, each one became a Rav in Germany, a different city. So they came to the Maggid to say goodbye. Two questions for the Maggid. One was in a Maimer Azoyer, and the other question they wanted to know what was the gadlus of the neshama of the Alter Rebbe. So the Maggid said the first question I can answer easily. The second one, it's too complicated. Forget about it. We're not going to talk about it. And elsewhere is a story that's brought from the Priya Oretz, the Mendel of Vitebsk, that said that it was the middle of the night and they were all sleeping in the base medrash. All Talmidei Maggid. The Alter Rebbe used to sleep in the back and under a table. He had a little pillow. And the Maggid walked in and he would look at every Talmud while they were sleeping and look at every Talmud in their face. Funny thing is that we know that the Rebbe Rashab also used to go sneak into the dormitory. He wanted to see what's going on when the Talmidim was sleeping, Dafke. So he looked at everyone in the face, and the Mendel of Erdok made believe he was sleeping. So he wanted to, and when the Maggid got to the Alter Rebbe, he looked at his face. He says, "Apella, how does such a melech kel ram v'nisa? How does such an exalted neshama rest in such a little body?" That was it, and that was the end of the Maggid. The Maggid left. And elsewhere also, there's a beautiful. The Alter Rebbe said that when the Maggid passed away, so they had the Talmidim made a goydel. Who is going to have the schus to toivel the body of the Maggid in the mikveh as a part of the tahara? And just like by Yaakov Avinu, so they made a goydel, and they wrote for the head they wrote the Rosh Kesem Poz. And the Alter Rebbe got the note of the Alter Rebbe. So in other words, the Alter Rebbe's job was to toivel. The Alter Rebbe told his son that he didn't do anything. He just held the Maggid's head, and he allowed the Maggid himself. He said, just like a live person, the Maggid dipped his head in the mikveh and put it back up. That was a story that the Alter Rebbe said himself. When the Alter Rebbe got this chus, so then the Talmidim understood that the Alter Rebbe had a shaykhs to the Anhaged, the Inyan of Rosh. They understood it was a Rosh. But L'chaim. We should see, just like the Chassid saw and the Alter Rebbe seeing, and just like the Alter Rebbe saw for his Rebbe, we should see it this way by our Rebbe. We should see it this way. We should go to the oil. We should see it in the videos, and we should connect to it. We should, just like the Rishon and the Shvi is the Zobazach. The bottom line is that the Alter Rebbe came to show us how Ein Od Milvado. The Alter Rebbe saw Kipshutoi. He didn't see a beam. He saw Ein Od Milvado. And if you look in the Mittel Rebbe in the Hagdama for Imre Bina, I think it is, one of the Svarim, he writes that what my father every Shabbos we used to darshan, and all his drushim was one thing, Ein Od Milvado. It was all his drushim. So just like in this Maimon, what the Alter Rebbe says that the whole thing of what's a base pa'or, what's the whole avodah zarah base pa'or, that the whole thing in Golus is to break through this avodah zarah. This avodah zarah is that we see that the truth is that this world is psoilus of psoilus of psoilus, and we look at it and it becomes something choshev, and that is movis, and then what becomes very important to us, that's even worse than movis. It's ra. The tikkun is the vanesha bagoy mul beis pa'or. It should be beis yashvus to us. This idea of bagoy, that the Eibishter is everything and there is nothing and there's ein Od Milvado. But for that you need a Rebbe. But the Shaloh, the reason the Alter Rebbe originally went to the Maggid is because he was very enamored by the Shaloh. He was very big into Shaloh. And he was also Maral, but mainly Shaloh. These two, Maral and the Shaloh, but mostly in the Shaloh. Even though Lachar is Einik called the Maral. And the Shaloh came to him in his dream, and he said, it's enough. This is not a derech for you. You have to find yourself a Lebedike Rebbe. That's why he decided to travel and find him, and he ended up in Mezrich. So just like the Alter Rebbe saw the Maggid, why didn't anyone else see it? Because the Alter Rebbe looked. So he noticed that the Maggid was able to tovel his head on his own. And why couldn't everyone do it? But the Alter Rebbe felt when you needed 1/10 of a minyan, this is the 10th. So the same should be by us. By us, the oilam that's sitting here based on Menachem Mendel, that all of us taka, that when we see a video from the Rebbe, the Eibishter was Ein Od Milvado. It was real. So it should rub off on us, that it should all be real to us. L'chaim, l'chaim.
We say when you tovel, you do it tahara. That's the pasuk you say.
Right, and that's why they put that. That's why they put that on.
Yeah, tovel. You pour the over the head. Not when you malish tovel. Take care of the head.
That's the pasuk.
You do like a nagel button on different parts of the body.
Those are the psukim they wrote. They wrote the psukim
I think I could. I don't know.
My Zayde, the Fabrengen, many times tell this about the base pa'or. Since we're already on the topic of base pa'or, my Zayde has a pshat. To take him quite a long time to tell it, but the Nakud is very simple. Because my Zayde says it with a lot of l'chaim, and he also has his unique way of telling the story. But this is his mahalach. How can it be? How can a group of people get together? Okay, they make a fancy getchka and they all bow down. Whoever came up with this wild idea? You pull your pants down, and instead of going to the bathroom, Asher Yotzer, you go to Avodah Zarah. I mean, that's crazy. It should be crazy. So the Gemara tells a story of this fellow. He thought he's doing a bizoin to Avodah Zarah, and then they said, "Wow, no one did the Avodah Zarah as good as you. There's been years we hadn't had someone that did so. I mean, how does it come? Some shagas like this." So my Zayda has a pshat. This is his pshat. There was a group of people. They were great intellects. Similar to the Rambam's description of a Novi. The Rambam describes that the Novi says, Madua ba Mashuga, called a Novi a Mashuga. The Rambam explains that they had Ispashtu Sagashmias. They were so connected to higher that they literally did not know what was going on. The Rambam says that a Novi, B'Shaz de Nevuah, his clothing could fall off. His pants will fall off, he doesn't know what's going on. His pants fall off, Kipshute, and walk out without pants. Okay? So that's why they called the Navi. It looked like Meshuga, but really, we're not Meshuga at all. They were higher, they were Makusha and Sichlim, and therefore their pants could fall down and meant nothing to them. Okay, so now with this lumdus, so Carrie can follow along with this. There was a group of people, they were very big intellects. They would come together, like we come together here in Beis Menachem Mendel, and they would start thinking about godless of the Eibishter. They want to give their wife a break. Their wife is at home so they, take the kids to Beis Menachem Mendel. Why do you think it's noisy here, Shabbos morning? Where we're trying to multitask. We daven, the while we're trying to give our wife a break. So you bring the kindlach around, and everyone's there, and the fathers, they were thinking, Groise Sachen, their pants fell down. After a while, the body does what the body needs to do. And the kids didn't know anything. The kids came with the fathers. They came and they went. All they know is the pants come down, and that's what happens. So eventually, when the first generation died off, the kids established that this is what you do. You come together, pants go down, and this again, Asher Yotzer. This really could go many directions. But I just want to tell you that there's one nakuda that to me is that comes Chof Dalet Teves. Huh? Yeah. So it comes Chof Dalet Teves, and we come together. The emissaries, it's so geschmack to be in Beis Menachem Mendel every verbringen. Not tonight, I'm Melave Malka. And the emissaries l'chaim for all those that came, l'chaim all those that set up, and l'chaim. It's a moedikes chus to be mishtatev. Especially this year, it's the same kviyus. Like this is the kviyus of 204 years ago. This was the kviyus Mat Shabbos. The Alter Rebbe made Havdalah, like I mentioned this morning. It's the Alter Rebbe said it's just because there's a shaila that Havdalah is deiraisa. It was such a day at Tzlula. The Alter Rebbe knew that he's passing away. The Alter Rebbe made Havdalah on black coffee because it was so chanius. They didn't have wine, so he made Havdalah on black coffee, and then he davened Ma'ariv. The Tzemach Tzedek writes that at that Ma'ariv, he was davening with the Alter Rebbe, and he knew, the Alter Rebbe said, that what's going to happen. So he davened with bitterness, with a nigun of Merirus. The Tzemach Tzedek. After davening, the Alter Rebbe told him, Tzemach Tzedek said this. He writes this.
Oh, that Alter Rebbe
No, the Tzemach Tzedek davened with Merirus. How old is that? I don't know. But I don't know if he was a kid. No, he wasn't a kid. He was an adult at the time. So the Alter Rebbe gave him Musar. The Alter Rebbe said that I know from the Magid. The Magid said that the Dmus of the Eibishter is like the Dmus of a Yid. Hashem Tzilcha. Another pasuk also there. And therefore, when the face a person shows to the Eibishter shows him back the same face. If you show a sour face, the Eibishter shows you a sour face. It's a motivating thing in life. So therefore, you have to smile. When you show a smiley face, the Eibishter smiles back to you. So when we come here tonight, it feels very good because we smile. Really, we sit together.
Almost like Chinese.
We're sitting together. What do we want? We want to be Ovdei Hashem, and we sit together and we feel we're in it together, and it's really sweet. But when we come home, why our families don't know all this. So it's like the Baal Poer. We have to make sure that it comes to Yom Tif, we share our thoughts and our feelings, not only with our spouse, which that's Versteht we're sharing it with our spouse, but also that we're sharing it with our friends, and be'ikah that we're sharing it with our children. That we make a fabrengen at home and we tell the stories, and not only the stories but also the hero and how we feel about it. L'chaim, that Taka, all of us here sitting here and Klal Yisrael should Taka that by coming to the Rebbe, we should Taka, it should have its desired effect. We should see the Einoid Malvadoi. We should be able to give it over to our children and all those that are here. That if they don't have kinderlach yet, the Eibusher should give them gute shidduchim. They should have kinderlach and they should have a lot of nachas, Yiddish chassidische nachas, and the Mashiach Tzidkenu come. We'll be able to march with them towards Mashiach Tzidkenu and say to U gedulim shegedalnu. L'chaim, l'chaim. Every time we see you, we see.
No, I just said
Oh, if I'm bringing extra. Oh, okay.
it's a different.
Ayifrach biyom of tzadik v'reshalom ad yoreya. Ayifrach biyom of tzadik v'reshalom ad yoreya. V'yed miyom ad yom v'minahor v'yadav sheyoretz l'fanov yichayotzi v'yodlov v'lo yizrakecho. No, L'chaim. The Olam is still sitting, so why not? Let's stupid another story for the Baal Shem Tov. My Zayd used to love to tell this story. He used to love to do Melave Malkas. Bachlal, he did always was very Bahader Melave Malkas because Bachsidim. We know from the Rebbe that the Rebbe Melave Malka was very, very big by the Rebbe, by our Rebbe, but who hardly ever ate. But Shabbos, it's not clear that the Rebbe washed kol shekin, kugel, chicken. That's like oloy or laladas, and the Rebbe ate these things. But they said Motzah Shabbos, the Rebbe was very medayik to wash, to eat Melave Malka. Anyway, Bachsidim was a very big thing. There's a certain Rosh Teves, if I guess in the Mitzvah next time we'll have Melave Malka, there's a story with the Alter Rebbe. There's a Rosh Teves about the Suda of Melave Malka keeps the Yetzer Hara at bay. Yeah. There's a certain Rosh Teves that keep, it keep. But the Melave Malka was very big by Chassidim. You understand it at Dava Poshet. Why? Because Melave Malka really is, what's Melave Malka? The whole idea of Melave Malka is that we bring the Shabbos, there's a Moed de Kedusha, it's Aliyas Oilabus, and then there is 6 days of the week. Melave Malka is we bring Melave the Melech. I mean, in other words, that it's on two levels. How do you know when you have a couple? How do you know that how do you know there is Shalom Bayis? How do you know they really love each other? It's everyone talks politely, but sometimes you see it. You see, if the guy finds an excuse to talk to her for another few minutes because he just can't say goodbye, then you know that they really love each other. They're just looking for an excuse to spend another few minutes together. So how do you know that the Yidden really love the Eibishter? You see it by Melave Malka. That Shabbos is over, but they can't, so therefore they're walking him. They're walking him a little weiter. But Bemis on a deeper level, it's to bring this is the whole union of Chulin Shanas Al Taras HaKodesh, that we bring the Kedusha Shabbos into the rest of the week. Shabbos is not a separate thing. The Shabbos and the 6 days of the week. We want to bring the Eibishter into all the 6 days of the week. So Chassidim Melave Malka is very, very big. So therefore, come to us that it says tonight that we're doing Melave Malka. It's a big thing. B'chlal, we should try to do throughout in the winters. We should do 1, 2, 3. We should try to do Melave Malkas. It's not it's B'chlal, the fact that we bring together is a moedic thing in Avodas Hashem. It's group therapy. Together. What kind of therapies do we need? We need the therapy to get to where we need to get in Avodas Hashem. That's the only thing. Therapy against the Yetzer Hara. But Melave Malka has a special koyach to it. So Chassidim is a very big Melave Malka. My Zayd used to love to tell this story. The story about the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov was right after Shabbos, and he said to the Chavraya Kedusha, "How about having a Melave Malka?" So Baal Shem Tov asked you want a Melave Malka. What do you say? Because what the heck?
No problem.
It's
Lachs and
but they didn't have lax and bagels in Beis Menachem Mendel with cream cheese, and the special waiter bringing delicious fresh coffee. Yeah, no. So he said everyone should, if everyone's masking, they should give 1 kopeke. They should give a small coin, a kopeke, and we'll collect from everyone, and we'll buy stuff from Melave Malka. So it was right after Shabbos. So everyone put their hand in the pocket. There was 1 kopeke there. Everyone gave a kopeke, and they collected the money, and they bought stuff from Melave Malka. They right away had Melave Malka. Good. And now it comes a pshat. So the Chassidim said the story. What's the bigger miracle in the story? It's a moedic miracle that all of a sudden every one of them had a kopke in the pocket. They were coming from Shabbos.
They put their hand in the pocket.
Why? It's a shot. They should have asked for $1 billion from each one.
Trump wasn't there then.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have asagas. So Chassidim said, no, that's not the big miracle. The big miracle is there was all the Talmid of Hashem Tov. No one said, hey, wait a minute. You think we're Mechal Shabbos? You think that we're carrying a kopke in our pocket? We just finished. We just came from Shabbos. We weren't home. No one said it. Because the Baal Shem Tov said that we should collect. So what's trachst? So everyone there was no suffix in their mind. The bigger miracle is not that there was a kopke in their pocket. The miracle is no one even questioned. They put their hands straight in their pocket. That was the miracle. Because that's a chosid. And I just... the first you have to say we're collecting the millions.
You can say it.
Yeah. I don't know what worked.
The problem today, you have a credit card. You give numbers and that's it. You swipe it.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm
I'll tell
on my 2nd million. I gave up on the first.
You should have the first and the second.
He gave up on the...
L'chaim. We should talk it. We should be chassidim like this. We shouldn't hesitate.
Thank you so much.
We shouldn't hesitate. The Rebbe. There's so many things from the Rebbe about what we should do in Avodas Hashem, and we hesitate. We think that we're not, we can't do it. We think that we're not going to get there. But we shouldn't hesitate. That would be the biggest miracle. The biggest miracle would be if we wouldn't hesitate. We put our hands in our pockets and gegangen. The Rebbe gehesen, and then we go for it right away. L'chaim. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Akilodi, no Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu Giladrim, Eliyahu Yelenu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David. Do we have any wine in the fridge? We have a becher?
The first Maimer the Rebbe said in Tafshin Yud. The first Maimer the Rebbe said in Tafshin Yud. The Rebbe said a story with Alter Rebbe that on Yom Kippur night there was a the first Maimer the Rebbe said in Tafshin Yud. Our Rebbe said a Maimer in Tafshin Yud the first time. In the Maimer he said a story from the Alter Rebbe. What is the story with Alter Rebbe? That once on Yom Kippur night, when everybody davening, middle davening, the Alter Rebbe took off his talis and left shul. Where he went to the other side of town, and he saw there is a lady that's gonna have a baby, and she need to warm up the house. The Alter Rebbe cut some trees, put it in the oven, and make a soup, give her to eat, help her to have the baby and everything, and then he came back to shul. And everybody didn't know what's going on. Then the Alter Rebbe said what happened. So the Rebbe said this story with the Alter Rebbe that happened to him, and he said it to the first Maimer. So 4 years ago, on Yom Kippur, our Rebbe called Chadakov and says, there is a person over here from Kfar Chabad, his name is Shlomo Kemadanchik, call him, I want to tell him something. Between Musaf and Mincha, there is a small break, about 50 minutes or 45 minutes, I don't remember exactly how much it was in 1970. And by the Rebbe Yom Kippur is a very, very serious day. And you see on the Rebbe's face, he was here, but he wasn't. So he got so scared, the Rebbe called you on Yom Kippur to get an Tachton to come. So he came right away and he said, I want you to do something Kfar Chabad. Open an organization called Shifra Upur. What to do? What Shifra Upur? What to do? So Rebbe said that when a lady having a baby, the first week she's very tired, she's very sick, somebody should give her food. And if there's a little kid in the house, somebody should watch the kid. This way, the people will have more comfortable when they have a baby. And you should do it to rich people and poor people, the same thing. Everybody in Kfar Chabad should get it. Okay. He heard it to the Rebbe, he told the Rebbe, yes, I will do so. And Taka, the next day after Yom Kippur, he went with another person that came into Kfar Chabad in Korn Heights, to the big Virim in Korn Heights, and he knocked door to door, and he said, the Rebbe asked me to open an organization, this and this, and I need money. And from the morning till the night, he didn't stop, only to daven, and by the night, he had already $3,000.
How many?
$3,000. $3,000  4 years ago is a lot of money.
How many years ago?
4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
30,000 now.
And this organization, Bnei Noah, till today open, and the Rebbe said the Kfar Chabad should be a model, like a model for all over the world. And all over the world today you have this organization. And not only by Chabad, even by other people, everybody.
Competore.
So now Chassidim says, that the story that the Rebbe said in the Yud Shvat about the Alter Rebbe, the Rishon and the Shvi should be the same. The same story that from all the people on Yom Kippur, the Alter Rebbe is the one that need to go to do this thing for the lady. Couldn't send somebody, and if you know about it and you see it somehow, he has a smartphone on Yom Kippur, the Alter Rebbe. How you know what's going on in the other side of town? Obviously you know, but the mitzvah bo, you tell me b'shlucho, there's a lot of explanation. So on Yom Kippur, the Rebbe wants that should be an organization that should be not only next to his Daled Amud, worldwide. But the Rebbe started with the way that we start from Kfar Chabad, and from there we'll go to and Taki, this organization today is going is over $1 million budget a year. Can you imagine this? Yeah. Because what they do, they have a house that they bring the kid to play. So this way the mother could have, let's say a mother with few kids in the house, and the kid came back from school, what happened till the night? It's few hours, right? So you need to do homework, you need to do play with them, etc. So these people donate from the time to go to this house and have games, homework, whatever, and all for free. And then they take back the kids, so the mother had free time.
Sensitivity of the Rebbe.
Another